Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson and Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today, believe it or not, our guest is Mary Perry. Not Mary Perry, the realtor, okay, because there's a difference. This is Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Judge, Family Division, Department P, for popular. So before we get to Judge Perry, Ms. Phillips.
Thank you for joining us, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. We have Dr. Ari Nagy. He's running for Congressional District 3. His website is nagyforcongress.com, and that is FOR, nagyforcongress.com. Jump on his website and check out his platform. We also have Henderson's Mayor, Michelle Romero. She is running for re-election. Her website is votemichelleromero.com. votemichelleromero.com. Get in touch with her. We also have Cody K. Whipple. He's running for Congressional District 4, and his website is codykforcongress.com, and that's the number 4, codykforcongress.com. Jump on his website and get in touch with him. Also, don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. This is a self-help book. If you do not have an attorney and you can't afford one and you're going through the family court system, you're going to want to get this book. You can get it on Amazon. It is $14.99, and it will help you navigate that system. Also, we have a merch store. It's VIPImerch.com, VIPImerch.com. There's all kinds of fun things for you to check out on there. And also, don't forget to grab your tickets to our Valentine's Ball. It is February 7th of 2026. We have early bird tickets on sale right now, so you're going to save some money if you get your tickets by the end of this month, because they go up to regular price January 1st. So you're going to want to grab those tickets. And I really don't have a rant. I wanted to talk about the ball, actually, and why we have those. They are every 2 years. We have this Veterans Day, the Valentine's Day Ball and Gala. And this is an opportunity for Veterans in Politics Foundation to raise money to help do all the things that we do throughout the year. And over the years, Steve has helped many litigants, many veterans with housing issues, childcare, food. There's all kinds of things that we are involved in, and he has been involved in for years, that a lot of people don't know about. So this is an opportunity for everybody to come together. You will not only meet people from our family, you will meet friends of ours. You will also meet elected officials, candidates, sitting judges, and all kinds of people at this event. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope you get your tickets, and we appreciate everybody.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
By the way, we've been doing the ball since the first ball was in 2012. So that'll tell you how long we've been doing the ball. Who's rubbing? Is that me rubbing?
Is that me? Is that him?
Steve's white.
Is it?
It's rubbing on your shirt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, boy.
Put it on the other side.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
There you go.
Better. So, yes, we've been doing the ball since 2012. And every year we anticipate it getting bigger and bigger. And we hope that in 2026 it'll be the biggest ball ever. Did you mention it's at the Suncoast?
Yeah, it's at the Suncoast Hotel and Casino. And it starts at 5 o'clock. We're going to have check-in from 5 to 6 and just, cocktails and meet and greet. And then dinner will be at 6. And we have some very important awards to give out. We have an incredible guest speaker, General Rob Novotny. I know some of you know him, and he has quite a background. And so he's going to talk with us. We also have Shelley Berkeley and Mayor Hardy. They're both going to be there. So it'll be a great time. And
Mayor Hardy and former Supreme Court Justice Mike Cherry is going to be receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award for their work in the community. So I think who received it? Berkeley?
Mayor Berkeley
received it, and the owner of the Tribune.
And
Laraj.
Mayor Goodman. You gave
and
one
Mayor
to Mayor Goodman,
received the light. Yes, so we're going 4 and 5 on February 26th.
Carolyn, not Oscar,
Carolyn
right?
Goodman received it, yes.
Right.
So it's going to be fun, and you're going to be able to meet veterans and politicians and judges and people that just want to make a community better. So it's going to be a fun time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Judge Perry, she's going to get her tickets, and she's going to be there too.
I don't know if I can be there because I promised my cousin I'd come to California with her. However, I will sponsor a veteran.
See? And if you can't make it, thank you for bringing that up, Judge Perry. If you can't make it, you could sponsor a veteran for a meal and have the veteran have some fun out there. Mm-hmm. And it's not, don't wear your blue jeans. You know, it's a classy atmosphere.
Yeah,
formal,
ladies,
so.
grab your red dresses.
Mm-hmm. The first ball we did in 2012, I think we had Congresswoman Berkeley back then, and Mayor Caroline Goodman, her first term. And it was Alana Lee, who was John Lee, former mayor of North Las Vegas, daughter. She was Miss Nevada at the time. And Sharon Engel. And those were our guest speakers. So that first ball was very, very exciting. So we're going to...
I don't know if you remember, but I was at 2014.
You were 2014?
I came 2014.
That was up at Mount Charleston, wasn't it?
That was up at Mount Charleston.
That's when everybody got a room.
That was a blast.
and we encourage everybody to get a room at the Suncoast. There are a lot of rooms available. Just let them know that you're coming for the February 7th ball for Veterans in Politics, so you can get a discount. So make sure you get a room. Don't drink and drive. We don't want nobody drinking and driving. So. But thank you for that, Miss Phillips.
You're welcome.
Judge Perry.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today, man?
You know, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it's Wednesday. I'm, down the end of Wednesday. So, 2 more days to go this week.
You wanna give us a bio? But don't leave anything out because I'm looking at your bio right now.
Well, I'm going to skip my high school and all that other stuff and go straight into, when I graduated, didn't know what I wanted to do. 21, I joined the Air Force, spent 8.5 years.
You have a Southern accent. Do you have a Southern accent?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Where you from?
I'm originally from Arkansas, spent a little bit of time in Texas.
Little Rock? With Clinton?
No, I'm almost 150 miles north of Little Rock.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost to the Missouri state line.
So we can't blame you for that then?
Nope, can't blame me for that. I wasn't old enough to vote for him, and then I wasn't there the second time he was in. But
please continue.
He was actually a good governor in Arkansas.
Was he?
He was a good governor. He did the state really good.
Right.
So
Paula Jones was there and all of them?
No, well, she may have been, but I don't know. I wasn't there at that point. But then I, after spending 8.5 years in the military, Scott Air Force Base, Kennan Air Force Base.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for yours.
Thank you. There's not many judges that are veterans of the military.
I think there's 2 or 3 of us right now.
You see? And we got, 58 district court judges here in
Is it 50?
Southern?
Is it that many?
50.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's not too many of us, but some of them were coming out of the woodwork that I didn't know was a veteran.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Don't ask me which one because my brain's just now that I mentioned it, my brain has drawn a blank. I know Judge Voy was one, but he comes in as senior judge occasionally, but not often anymore. But which one? It's just my brain won't function on which one.
That's right.
But then my ex-husband was stationed here, and I arrived in Nevada.
He was at Nellis.
He was at Nellis, October 15th, 1993.
All right.
And got my undergraduate degree. And then when they opened the law school, I was in the charter class at Boyd.
Okay.
Graduated and been licensed since 2001.
All right.
I had to actually count that. It's too long ago.
Please keep going.
Please keep going.
Kids?
I've got one daughter. She's 42 years old.
Uh-huh.
She lives in Arkansas on the farm that we have. She takes care of my mom since I can't be there.
Oh.
And when I was running for judge last time in 2020, that was rough. I don't know if you were involved in that interview, but I lost my dad.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
During the campaign, and I was doing an interview, and I just found out that we were having to decide.
Was it the Veterans in Politics interview?
I don't remember which one it was.
Because I don't sit on the panel. So
yeah.
I don't vote for any Why did he endorse?
It wasn't an endorsement. It was just so that people can get to know us and everything.
Okay, like a meet and greet type deal?
Yeah, it was a meet and greet. You know, it was during COVID and all this other stuff. And we just found out that we were going to have to decide whether or not to let my dad suffer a horrible death or turn the machines off. And I just remember sitting there, all smiley, introducing myself, and then just bust out crying. So,
my condolences.
I tried real hard. And
how old was Dad?
Dad was 82.
Okay.
Yeah, so he had a good life, but he got burned real bad. Yeah. And it burned.
How?
He was out, being out in the country, you burn your trash sometimes, and he was out burning the trash, and something had exploded, and it caught his shirt on fire, and it burned.
Yeah, third-degree burns.
Yeah, and he was doing good, but mold. He got mold, and they'd pretty much took it down to the bone. So Jesus. There was not. There was nothing they could do. How old was he
when that happened?
82.
Oh, he was. Oh,
yeah. He was in the hospital for 30 days.
So that's what took him.
Yeah, that's what took him. He died October 24th.
I'm sorry.
So
how did you handle that?
Oh, it was rough.
Were you guys close?
Yeah. We were real close.
You were Daddy's little girl?
Of course I was.
Okay.
But I had lost I'd lost my sister though just a couple of months before that due to liver cancer.
Oh, boy.
So it was, she died in July, my dad died in October, and I was elected. And so, sometimes I'm like, how did I get through all that?
Yeah. It takes a veteran to get through those things.
Yeah. Huh? And of course, I'd been diagnosed with breast cancer at the end of 2018.
Oh, wow.
So I had just went through all of my treatments and was still taking some medications that I guess we'll get into here in a little bit. So, it was rough. It's been rough.
Few years, yeah.
I've had a real rough few years.
Yeah. Wow.
How do you maintain your composure?
Military bury.
Okay.
When it gets to the point, and if now I'm able to sit back and say, military bury, pretend like there's a general out there that's going to get me.
A general. We're going to have a general at the ball.
Oh, cool. Which one?
General Novotny. He's our guest speaker.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, he was in the Air Force. He was a fighter pilot, retired now, and does some very interesting work around the world. Yeah. So he's going to come and talk for a little bit, and it'll be great.
That's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's going to be really interesting.
So do you have any fur babies or anything like that?
I don't. My husband's allergic.
Okay.
Or I don't here in Nevada, but we've got 40 head of cattle that runs on my farm. And what is it? 1, 2, 3 cats and 2 dogs. And, I'm going to say 2.5 dogs because my cousin's dog comes over.
Takes care of all that. Okay.
Yeah. And she wants to get a horse.
Okay. And might as well.
I want to get a goat.
See, you got goat. Plenty of land for that over there.
I love goat. Yeah. Curry goat's delicious.
Oh, well, I won't need him. I want him to mow my lawn. So
don't name him. Don't name him, then you won't have a problem. Once you name them, then it's trouble.
Look, all the cattle are either named T-bone, ribeye, or
shoulder. What's that? What's that thing called?
Oh, gosh.
Rump roast.
Yeah. I just call them roast. So
everybody's a roast.
Yeah. And every year I have to rename them
because it's a new
batch.
New batch. Yes.
So and I get to spend maybe 4 weeks out of the year at most if they keep them for a year. Getting to know them and then start all over again. But it's when it's time for me to retire, I'll be going home.
Okay. Back to Arkansas.
Okay. I'll go back.
How often do you go back to, by the way?
It depends on what's going on. If, how loaded my calendar is. I mean, right now the cases they seem like they're coming in faster than they ever have. But I try to go back for a week to 10 days at least twice a year.
Okay. I know you gotta say hi to Rump Roast, make sure he's okay.
Yeah, and T-bone.
T-bone. Don't let me near T-bone.
Ribeye is great.
Don't let me get near T-bone.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna bring an axe.
Yeah. I have a picture of one of the T-bones in my phone. I do. When I had my Android, it was part of my screensaver.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Are we done with your bio?
Yeah, we're done with my bio until we get into the next story.
Do you do any community service or anything like that?
I haven't had the opportunity.
Okay.
It's with my health. It's coming out of the breast cancer treatment, trying to lay low
kind
because
of restrict you to the bench.
Yeah, with radiation and stuff like that, it lowers my resistance. Okay. And then, 2 years into it, I had 2 or 3 attacks of pancreatitis and had to have my gallbladder taken out.
I had that happen.
Yeah. And
they had a bag on me.
Yeah. Well, before they could do it, they had to stick a bag through my liver into my gallbladder to drain it because my pancreas had to calm down.
Were you on pain meds?
Yeah. And, so I was walking around the courthouse with the bag hanging out of my side for a while.
What a trooper.
Yeah. And then, of course, when I had the surgery, Judge Moss sat in a couple of times for me.
Okay.
And then the rest of the time, I'm like, okay, we don't have a lot going on, so I just went dark.
So since we're on your health, might as well we just finish it up.
Okay.
So when you were going through this medical transition, you're done with all your chemo.
I am. Yes, I didn't have to do chemo. Thank goodness.
You didn't? Okay.
No, it was stage 1, but it was just for breast cancer. I had bilateral mastectomy.
What is that exactly?
A bilateral mastectomy means they took both of them.
Okay.
Because
what year was that?
This
Mary?
was in January 4th, 2019.
Oh, okay. So right before your election.
Yeah, right before we jumped in to start doing all the campaigning and everything. Yeah. Because that was in 2020 when the campaign started. Mm-hmm. So I had the breast surgery, and when we finished with that, they weren't totally happy with the lymph nodes and with the edges being completely clear. So I had to do radiation. So, I went through 6 weeks of that, huge burn spots twice. And because, and with the type of cancer, it was hormonal fed.
So it was
it was hormonal fed.
So your level of putting up with BS was...
Well, at that point, it was
Minimal.
still, at that point, everything was still okay. It's when they put me on the medication that totally suppressed my hormones, which that started May. Could you name May 2019?
Name the type of medication now.
It's anastrozole.
Anastrozole.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Anastrozole.
MIS is IPPI.
Yeah. But and its job is to totally suppress my hormones.
Okay.
And
what does that do to you? Mentally, psychologically.
Imagine the worst PMS case you've ever ran into.
I can't imagine that.
And then multiply it. And then multiply it by probably 1 million.
Wow. 1 million, she says.
Because at least during menopause, you still have some hormones.
Right.
Well, this medication's job is to totally suppress the hormones so the cancer has nothing to feed on.
Gotcha.
And I have to take it for 10 years.
What year are you?
What year did you start?
I started 2020.
Oh, wow.
2019 is when I started. June of 2019. Okay. So June of 2029.
So you got 5 more years to take.
I got 5 more years.
So does it help?
4 more years.
4 more years.
4 more years.
Does it help?
Oh, God. Well, now that my body has gotten more used to it, it's helping a lot.
Okay. So you adjusted.
I've adjusted. The first year and a half, 2 years, everything was okay. I'm like, God, this isn't bad. And then I become a stark raving, you know what?
I know.
I couldn't control it. And it was horrible. I almost resigned. Okay. I went to the doctor, said, is there anything we can do to make this better?
And why did you want to do that, Mary?
Because I knew my temperament was not the way it needed to be.
Gotcha.
It's, and
so you were thinking about the bench.
was thinking about the bench and my job and the fact that I was doing the job, but I was a witch, with a different letter at the beginning.
It takes a really, really bold person to admit to something like that.
Yeah. And I knew what it was, and I was disciplined for it. And I deserved a lot of the discipline because that was not proper. There was really no excuse.
When you say you were disciplined for it, what does that mean?
I was put on probation.
By who?
What was the
By the
complaint?
disciplinary.
What was the complaint?
I had a complaint that I was yelling.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about that a little bit. The yelling part. Why were you yelling?
Because I just explode.
Okay.
You know, so it's whatever they were saying, it would trigger, and it's just, and I couldn't, you know, I went through periods where I could not stop my tongue.
Because of this medication and the effects
because
of
the medications and the
what it
effects
was doing
it
to your
had on
hormones.
me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it was one of the worst periods. I'm surprised my husband stuck with me. Fortunately, he was there when the doctor explained to him what was going to happen. But I came close a couple of times of losing him even.
How about your hearing?
Oh, it sucks. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I do need to get it checked out. I get to go to my primary care physician.
Is that where the yelling and the...
I think that's why, because I speak loud anyway. And I think a lot of it has to do with my yelling or with my hearing and then my husband's hearing.
Okay. So you got to talk loud to him.
I have to talk loud to him.
Yeah. So you got used to talking loud.
I got used to talking loud.
And people thinking you're yelling at them.
Yeah.
But you just got a command voice.
Unfortunately, I'm loud.
Like in the Marine Corps. Get up, soldier! You're not yelling. You just tell them to get up. Right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's not yelling.
Yeah.
You want to see yelling?
Yeah. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding that, an order is an order. It's not a suggestion. And being military, you obey the orders.
So when you write an order and sign one off, you mean that's how it's supposed to go.
Yes.
You're not like some of these other judges that write orders that have no teeth.
I do everything I can to enforce my
Judge
orders.
Ritchie. Anyways.
And some others.
I will, I graduate on what happens, One time I'm like, okay, please don't do it again. Right. Then the second time, okay, I've got to get a little bit rougher. And the third time, it's like, you're about to go to jail. And I've only had to put one person in jail.
That's it.
That's it, just one person.
Well, we were in Judge Cooley's courtroom, and he had two people he put in jail.
Yeah.
But
Right?
isn't that criminal?
Yeah, his is criminal.
I hope he put some people in jail.
Well,
he's a muni judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I always ask the family court judges that we have on, every one of them almost, how do you enforce your orders? Because there's so many people that they get away with not paying child support. They're supposed to drop the kids off at this time or that time, and they don't. And people have to go back to court constantly because the other one is not following what the order says. And then the judge does nothing.
Yeah.
So many times.
I can't speak to the other judges. I can only talk about what I do. I believe in enforcing my orders. And there's a lot of people who they don't realize, I should get to choose. My kid don't want to go. It's all this here. And I'm sorry, but since when did a 9-year-old become the parent? And that's the attitude that I have to take. I may not necessarily want to enforce the orders, but they're orders, and I'm going to enforce them until you give me a reason on why I shouldn't enforce the order. And telling me that your child don't want to, that's not a good enough reason.
Unless they're being abused or unless there's other evidence that's brought forward.
But they have to have the evidence. They can't just come in and say, well, he's yelling at the kid. So, you know how many times my mom and dad yelled at me? And I probably deserved it. The children don't run the households, I hope.
Yeah.
Parents have got to be parents. And, you're no longer together probably because you didn't agree on a lot of things. And one of them is probably the child rearing.
So right now there's some complaints that are out there.
Yes.
How many?
Well, they are resolved, the majority of them.
Okay.
And, there may be one more up there right now, 2 more. I don't know. I've only heard of one possible one being up there.
Do you think that they were deserved, or you think that they jumped the gun?
The one that's possibly pending right now, no, it was not deserved. There was withholding of the child multiple times. And I'm not talking about just for, a couple of days.
The case, they were withholding the child.
Yeah, most
the
of
people
them.
that filed a complaint against you.
Yeah. And some of them didn't like my tone. The majority of the complaints that were there is they didn't like my tone. A lot of people feel that they're finding that by filing a complaint, they can get judges changed. They think that filing disqualifications can get judges changed. They don't realize that they come in and they have the ability to actually watch the hearings, because even if it's sealed, they get to see what took place during the hearing. And then they send an investigator in to see what our side is, and then they either move forward or they don't move forward. With that discipline, I think there's 3 or 4,
So
different actions.
How are you managing your stress level now? What do you do?
For the most part, I'm able to stay pretty calm. If it looks like it's getting out of control, and you'd be surprised at how many litigants wants to yell at me or yell at any of the judges.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The disrespect that the judges have to put up with, being called every dirty name in the book, and then it's hard. And if I feel like I'm starting to, I'm about to lose it, I go off the record and walk off the bench.
Take a recess.
Yeah. And if it's really bad or they're just not staying quiet long enough for me to get out what I need to get out, all right, I'll see you in 30 days. Give them a new date. Let them come back in 30 days.
Well, that fixes it.
Yeah. A lot of times they're not getting the orders that they want. But if they would have let me speak and explain everything out, because I like to try to explain everything. And a lot of times they won't let me get past the first paragraph, because I have my decisions pretty well written out, because I've reviewed the case and I know about what I'm going to do. Now, I'll tell them what my decision is and now convince me how I'm wrong. And so I'll go through it, and then they start yelling at me and interrupting me and not letting me continue. And obviously you don't want to hear where I'm going.
Have you ever seek any type of counseling or anything like that? Or is the medication?
The medication is leveling out.
Okay. And
there's occasional flare-ups where it starts to hit, but I can usually catch it and I feel it. And I feel the boiling deep in my gut. And I'm like, I better watch it. And so I'll drink a little bit of Mountain Dew and let the sugar go in there and try to make me sweet.
So there was stuff on the news about you.
Correct.
How are you dealing with that public perception of what the media has said about you?
I can't go back in time and change it. I can't change that I am. All I can do is move forward and show the people that the medication of my temperament is leveling out the way that it should be, and that I'm asking for their faith, for their trust, because I do everything that I can to try to make the right order. I have no problem making the hard decisions, and I will enforce my orders. That was the big thing that I promised the voters when I ran the last time. I will enforce my orders.
Okay. Have you been reversed by the Supreme or
quite often?
Why is that?
Why is that?
Because
she said quite often.
I'm not
everyday thing.
I'm not afraid to.
And that's one thing I like about you, that you are upfront and honest, and you don't try to cherry coat and try to BS people.
Yeah, I try.
You try what? Try to cherry coat, BS people?
Sometimes I try, but that's just not in my nature to do that.
She can't do it.
I just can't do it. When I make a decision, I don't base it on, I got an election coming up. If I decide this way, I'm going to lose more votes because I'm probably or possibly going to get reversed. But we need answers to this one subject area. So, I will write that hard decision without looking at this next election. I've got a job to do. And, we've got quite some good guidance from the times that I've been reversed. Sometimes I didn't like the guidance, but, it's the law now, so I have to do it.
It's a positive thing you got out of.
Correct.
Okay, so the question would be, your decision when you made a decision and when they reverse it, how making that decision that they reverse, how detrimental that decision you made to those litigants or to those families? What type of decisions that you made that they reversed?
To a degree, some of it could be harmful. I had one. It was regarding spousal support.
Mm-hmm.
The party who was paying was making right around $7,000. The person who was wanting it was making $5,000
a month.
Mm-hmm. And part of the VA disability was being used to calculate whether or not they could be. He was a vet, on whether or not they could pay the spousal support. And when you read the statute, and the legislative history, it sounded like that they intended the new statute in 2015. The way I read it, you weren't supposed to use the disability pay to determine spousal support if the person could afford to pay spousal support, because the legislative history flat out stated that it's more of a personal injury award and not an income.
And let me piggyback on that, because federal laws say you can't use a veteran's disability benefits for anything. Even the IRS can't even tax it.
You can't tax it.
Can't use it in bankruptcies. Can't use it in judgments.
But, not only did my case come down reversing me, stating you can use it to determine if the person has enough money to pay their bills and still pay spousal support. The Supreme Court just come down with the case. It landed on my desk this morning, so I only glanced over it just to see what the bottom line was. And the Supreme Court even agreed with that. You can use it to see if the person can afford to pay, but you cannot expect them to pay it out of that.
There's also a state law that says you can't use a veteran's disability benefits for alimony.
They can't make you pay alimony out of it, but if you have other income, then they can take it out of that.
Yeah,
even if it just leaves you with the VA disability.
Just for the calculation.
Just for the calculation, for the numbers to see, if you've got enough to pay your bills and you've got this money left over, let's say you've got this $1,000 retirement from something else, they can take that entire $1,000, but don't touch that disability.
But the way I read it, it is like you can't count.
That's how I read the statute too.
Yeah, you can't count it. So if you're getting $5,000 a month for disability, in everybody's eyes, this is the 5,000. That's down there. You're not supposed to see it. Yeah, what you see is nothing.
That's how I read the statute, and I read it over and over and over again. And I'm like, well, there's, all the judges told me I was making a mistake when I wrote it, but that's not the way that I read it. And I'm like, you know what? I can't look at the election because there's a lot of ex-spouses that count on that. So I wrote the decision knowing that, there's a 50-50 chance of getting reversed.
And Jim Wheeler, the former state assembly, he's the one that sponsored that bill and got
Keith
it passed.
Pickard was the one who helped write it too.
Did he?
Yeah, he helped write it.
Okay.
So after I wrote the decision and it come down, well, I'm not going to tell you what he said because, I can't. But,
What do you say?
I can't tell you. Or at least not everybody else can hear. But, the Supremes and the appellate court spoke. So, as a judge, I'm not an activist judge, but if I see an area that we need answers on, I'm not afraid to write the decision and get reversed.
So let me ask you something, Judge Perry. You're very blunt.
Yes, unfortunately.
I love that, by the way.
Well, thank you.
You're passionate.
Yes.
You put the children first.
Yes, I do.
But you had these judicial complaints.
Correct.
And your medical.
Correct.
And that's leveling out.
Correct.
With your medication. Yes. And and you've been reversed.
Yes.
A few times.
Correct.
Why should the people of Nevada go back to the voting booth
Mm-hmm.
and put you back in office?
Because I am willing to make the hard decisions. I am willing to enforce my rulings and my orders. I am willing to follow the law and not my heart. Even if my heart says otherwise, I follow the law. I do my job. Whether people believe it or not, I am the most efficient department up there.
What does that mean?
That means I get all the orders signed. That gets up to me. We usually can turn our orders around within 2 weeks.
Okay.
I've got one right now that I've got to get it out before Friday. It will hit 90 days, and I've never taken an order to 90 days. This is going to be the first. And
so you like to move your courtroom?
I like to move my courtroom.
You don't like stuff sitting around?
When you've got a 10 o'clock hearing, your case is probably going to be heard in the 10 o'clock hour. I think I have ran over 4 times in almost 5 years. I try to schedule cases. If I see that, okay, this one needs an hour, then I'm going to move it to another block and set that hour aside because, I'm not going to make other people have to sit and miss appointments, other hearings and stuff like that, or even work time waiting for me to get around to them. I try to be as efficient on the bench as I possibly can. I'm also consistent. You can talk to just about every attorney out there, tell them your facts, make sure they're accurate, and they're going to tell you how I'm going to decide because I am consistent in my decisions.
Okay. When you were a practicing attorney, you defended a person,
Yeah.
Which I felt was guilty.
Mm-hmm.
What's your argument on that versus you being a judge today?
Okay. On that, I had a job to do. My job was to defend my client. Not necessarily lie for them, but to defend them, make sure the other side is able to prove their case. And my job isn't to sit there and help the other side win. I have to defend my client. I will not lie for him. I will not stretch the truth for him. It is what it is, but I'm going to make the other side do their job. That's because that is my job. That is my ethical responsibility to the person who has hired me. And the one you were talking about, I was a stopgap attorney.
What does that mean?
That means he needed somebody immediately to respond. I got in there, I got the paperwork done while he was finding another attorney to take over for me. So I got in there, I represented him for a very short period of time, and then I let the other attorney take over.
So now you're a judge.
Now I'm a judge. Now I get to look at both sides.
Okay.
I get to look at the evidence from both sides or listen to the evidence from both sides. And then I have to decide which one is the most accurate, the most credible. I pray that there's evidence that will back me up
Do you
on
follow
that decision.
the rule of evidence?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And when it comes to domestic violence, because you get a lot of it in your courtroom, right?
I see a lot of it, yes.
If a litigant comes in and says, well, that person did this to me, that person did that to me, or whatever, they have no evidence, they're just saying, and their argument is, well, I had my kid and had no place else to go. I didn't want to get him in trouble or her in trouble because they would have got locked up and wouldn't bring any money into the home. How do you handle domestic violence in your courtroom? What do you look for? You say, hey, is a police report filed or are there any photos? How do you handle that?
I try to find out, what the position is. There's 2 ways. If you're using it as one of the 12 factors for the best interest of the child, then it's a preponderance of the evidence is the level, which is Do I believe them? But that's only one of 12 factors. Then you've got the other 11 factors that I have to also look at to determine. When you're trying to do the rebuttable presumption that, it's in the best interest of the child for a perpetrator of domestic violence to not have joint physical or primary physical custody, then that is clear and convincing evidence. That requires an evidentiary hearing. It requires people under oath, police reports, all sorts of proof. If there is a conviction by a judge or jury, plea agreements are not something that I can consider because so many people will go in there. Okay, it's going to cost me $5,000 for an attorney. I don't have it. Okay, plead guilty because they're going to, do all this other stuff and get it behind them.
And then I could expunge it in 7 years or whatever.
And that's very hard to do. But, there's a lot of things. Then there's other things that you got to look at. Did that person actually commit an act of domestic violence? And were they really the aggressor? There's been...
Explain that.
I'm going to go a little outrageous.
Sure.
Okay, that way, because there's, I'm going to try
show.
to... Well, I'm going to take it as...
Just don't yell. I'm kidding.
Oh, come on.
It's all right, Judge.
A woman comes into court claiming, he took a knife, he pulled a gun. Let's go. He pulled a gun on me, and so I was given this TPO. And then the hearing master said I couldn't have it, and I don't understand why. So here's my objection. Okay, let's examine what happened. Sir, why did you pull a gun on her? Well, she pulled a machete on me first. Who do you think the aggressor was?
The one that pulled a machete.
Yep. So many people don't realize that slap, up against the face, or that punch in the arm, and unfortunately, it is a lot of women who do this.
And people handle things differently because if you slap somebody in the face, they might want to kill you.
Yeah.
But if you punch somebody in the arm, they probably just brush it off.
Well, and a lot of men, not all of them. I mean, there's some men where I look at them like, oh, you dirty dog here.
But the women too. I mean, the one particular, I won't say the name, but she killed her husband.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been multiple, cases like that. Yeah, but my goodness, I mean, some people are pushed to the absolute, brink.
Yeah. But they're not always pushed to the brink. A lot, you'd be surprised at how many people who are screaming domestic violence are the perpetrators. Mm. So many don't realize that they're the ones who's pushing it. When you start the violence, when you push them, when you throw the phone up against the wall, when you take the keys away from them, when you block their way to exit, you're the one who's first acting out.
Financial.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about the violence portion of it. You can hold them financially hostage and stuff like that. Well, I can issue orders on that. It's getting down to the real facts. There's situations. When I was practicing, I was representing a woman, and her husband went out to dinner with a couple, that they were friends with. The wife and her friend wanted to go drinking. Well, the husband and the friend didn't want to. So 2 hours later, they were calling and say, hey, where are you? Let's go. They got into the car. And the wife said, well, I wanted to stay drinking. And she started pounding on him while he was driving through the parking lot. And he slammed on the brakes. Well, she hit her face on the dashboard.
Domestic violence.
She kicked him out. She drove down the road, saw a cop, complained to the cop. She had blood coming out of her nose and everything because she busted her nose. They went and arrested the husband. The husband went 5 years with mom having primary. Mm-hmm. And we went into the courtroom. And, and it was just like, Judge, Ask her what was going on. You know, because he pled, and he didn't realize he had.
What did he
He
plead?
could have fight because he couldn't afford the attorney to sit there and fight it.
Mm-hmm.
But with her hitting him, she was the aggressor. So he wound up walking out of the courtroom with primary physical custody.
Okay.
You know, people need to learn, don't take that plea even though it's cheaper. You've got to fight it.
In the long run, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more.
It's going to cost you your Second Amendment rights. And I have a hard time without taking it to the evidentiary hearing. And the statute says without clear and convincing evidence, or, majority of the factors going there, that it starts at joint legal, joint physical custody. And I stick with it. And I let people know if I have to make the decision, it's going to be week on, week off. Because it's easy. Mm-hmm. Equal fun, equal responsibility. Nobody can complain that they're doing the most work. So that's, to me, that's the fair, sorry about that. That's the fair schedule that I can do. And, sometimes I actually have one of the parents come back and say, you know what, I can't deal with this. It's a lot harder than what I thought. I'd rather just pay the child support.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes when you give them what they want, they realize it's not what they want.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. So I give them what they want. Mm-hmm. The kid's either going to win or the kid's going to win.
Have you ever done child interviews?
I do them all the time.
And how do you handle
I don't anymore. I like to bring the child in, find that one comfort zone where we can relate.
At Chuck E. Cheese, McDonald's?
No, I do it in the courtroom. Oh. I do it in the courtroom.
In the courtroom.
I know.
It's on the record, but it's sealed, where the public cannot get to it. However, if the Supremes or somebody wants to review it.
Veterans, what? Veterans?
Yeah, like that, veterans in politics.
Those people that are in your courtroom all the time.
You can't get to it. But,
How old are these children? Is there a certain age?
It actually depends on the subject matter, the maturity level. I have interviewed as young as 5, not necessarily get any information out, but so that they're not feeling like they're left out. And usually it's just sitting there, you know what, I just wanted to meet you so that I can know what you're like, what you like to do with your mom and daddy. That way, if I can order them to do something that you like, I'll try to do it.
So do you wear a robe or do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
When I know I'm doing a child interview, I'll usually be dressing down, blue jeans, t-shirt, I dress down because, I've found that the kids, they get nervous with the robe.
Are you on the bench?
No.
Or?
I most of the time I will come down, sit at the table with them and just have a discussion. I like to get to know them. Okay. And sometimes without even trying, they just start blabbing. Mm-hmm. They tell on their parents like you wouldn't believe.
I would believe it.
Yeah. And
first rule of Fight Club.
Yeah.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
No. Yep.
You seen that movie?
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time. But I like to, and if going through it, if I feel like they're being put in the middle and they're not wanting to be put in the middle, I'll just get to know them and let them go. I won't get down to the nitty gritty on why I really wanted to talk to them.
How long you and I known each other now?
2014.
So what's that, 11 years?
Yep. 11 years.
And you ran for Congress.
I ran for Congress in 2016.
Yeah.
I ran for family court judge in 2014. Mm-hmm. And then I ran for Department P in 2020.
And I was always critical of you.
Very critical of you.
She says very.
Well, you told me I don't sugarcoat anything.
And this is probably the first time, well, we've talked before.
We've talked a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is probably one of the real times we're on camera talking about this stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the first time that you and I have actually had a heart-to-heart.
Yes.
How long has it been? Have you ever been on the show before?
I don't think I've been on the Veterans in Politics, but I've been to their endorsement interviews.
Mm-hmm.
But on the show?
She's never been on the show.
I've never been on the show.
This is the first time. She's been to several endorsement interviews, though.
Two of them, to be exact.
Two.
This is a big deal. We've wanted you in this hot seat for
a long time.
A long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She wanted you here day one when she first came to the show.
And then I want to make a point. Then I invited y'all to my courtroom.
You did. You did.
You didn't come to my courtroom. I invited you to my courtroom.
That's right. We were sitting in, whose courtroom we were in? Hoskins.
Department E.
Yes, and then they came and your marshal came and got us.
He came and he told me that y'all were next door, and I'm like, well, watch for them when they come out. Tell them to come over.
Yes, and thank you for your time doing that.
You're welcome.
By the way.
I figured y'all deserved it.
And you know, when we do these things, we do it from the heart. Because we believe, and that's why we do it, because we actually believe that course of action is the best way to go. But after speaking to you and finding out about your medical condition and how you're leveled and it's a different opinion for me.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I went through a hard time, and I definitely have to apologize to the litigants that I yelled at, to the attorneys that I've yelled at. You know, a couple of them, I was able to catch them, you know, in the courtroom and apologize to them personally. But, you know, that's not who I am. You know, who am I?
Who are you? Who's Mary Perry?
I believe in justice. You know, I believe in things being done the right way. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in parents being allowed to be parents. You know, they have equal rights. I don't, you know, whether you're the mother or the father, you have equal rights to that child until it's proven that you shouldn't have equal rights. And I'm going to give those parents a fighting chance.
So you don't sway to mom or sway to dad?
I do not. I do not.
There are litigants that say that you don't like women, you always go with the father. I mean, they have said all kinds of things about you. So why would they say that you favor fathers?
Because I don't give them primary physical custody when they ask for it. I give them joint physical custody. I start where the law tells me I have to. And then I follow the evidence.
And that's joint, and that's week on, week off.
That's joint, and then if they cannot come with a decision, then it's going to be week on, week off. If the child is getting close to school age, you know, if they're younger, then I'm going to cut the time, you know, with where they're not away from each parent for as long of a period. You know, a 3-4 split, 3-4-4-3 split, 3.5 days, 3.5 days. A lot of it depends on what the parents' schedules are. You know, and I don't count the hours, I count the days. A kid sees their dad Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They see their mom Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So they see their dad 3 days a week. And they see their mom 5 or 6 days a week. In their mind, even though there's only 7 days a week, they see that parent 3 days. 3 days is joint physical custody. So I take it from the child. No. You know, these parents who come in, let's do the math. He should only have every other weekend because I deserve to have my weekends. It's only 52 days a year. They're wanting this other parent to only have 52 days a year. How can you be a parent on just 52 days a year? How can you prove to your kids that you love them and that you're there for them?
And folks, there's 365 days in a year, 366 if it's a leap year.
That's alienation. That's parent alienation.
Yeah, you know, and they're not seeing it from the other side. You know, this is my baby. I can't live without my baby. But they forget it's also his baby. You know, he was also in the home with his child. You know, and then you've got those who are stay-at-home mothers, sometimes stay-at-home fathers. You're married or you're living together. You're cohabitating. You got a division of labor. You know, that's how couples do it. You're a partnership. So you're going to have a division of labor. One person's going to be doing A, B, C, D, and the other one's going to be doing E, F, G, H. You know, that's just how they do it. And occasionally they'll meet in the middle. And, you know, the father will get up in the middle of the night and feed the children. And, you know, especially if mom's sick and stuff, change diapers. And, you know, but it's the division of labor. When you separate, it's no longer a division of labor. You have to do it all over here and you have to do it all over here. So each of you need to have equal responsibility of that child so that each of you can have some time to live your life, to get a job, to support yourself, to when you get in your old age, you're going to have the retirement also. And, and when I was practicing, I would always tell my clients, never depend on spousal support, because you never know when that other party is going to get struck by lightning and die. And then you're going to be without nothing. Oh, wow. Is that double negative? It's, I strive to try to get people to understand they have to be able to support themselves. They can't depend on somebody.
Yeah, no, it's true. We have come down on you, and we've called you out, and we've talked about you on the show. And the reason the judicial temperament is up there at the top.
Correct.
That is a very important thing. We talk about it all the time, and we really pay attention to that when we're observing in these courtrooms. And I think that's important to have control of your courtroom, because you set the stage for everybody. You can command respect that way, by the way you act. And we talk about that. And we've had, litigants come to us and talk about how you act and names maybe you've called them. And all of this stuff is on video. And you can see and go back and see. And we've watched these videos. But also, there's another side to that. Because not always when they come tell us this stuff do they say what happened in the beginning. What they did maybe to garner that reaction from you. So tell us sometimes what is that other side to these litigants?
Sometimes they lie. And it's easy to catch them in those lies. For instance, when they talk about I wasn't properly served.
Yeah, we were talking about that because people, in general, a lot of people say, you can't serve someone who's under 18. I didn't get served because they didn't hand it to me and all these things, but yet they show up in court. They knew about it. Yeah. So
the purpose behind service is so that you have notice of the action taking place. A summons must be served with pretty much any action. I think termination of parental rights is one of the few areas where the rule doesn't require a summons, but it should. And I'm going to start enforcing it because one of the other judges did, and now where they used to have a 10% participation rate by the parent whose rights were being terminated, it's jumped to 90%. So I think most of us is going to start pushing for the summons to also be served at the same time, because that says, you have been sued. You've got 21 days to respond. And they know, I have an opportunity to be heard. That's their first hint that they still get to have the rights.
Let me ask you something, Judge Perry.
Okay.
Answer me this if I'm correct.
Okay.
I was told that you're the most preempt judge.
I am.
Please explain. Although because of you, the county's making $450 a pop
each pop
for each one. So
most of the time, it's attorneys who are preempting me. They're preempting me because they know how I'm going to decide a case before going in there. For instance, this father, I want primary physical custody because they're my kids. They don't have any other reason. Those 12 factors are going to come out where it's going to be joint physical custody. Those attorneys knows it's going to be joint physical custody. So they would rather go ahead, spend the $450, preempt me, and hope they will get a judge that will be more sympathetic to what they're asking.
Regardless, you're making a lot of money for the county.
I am.
Yes.
And that's sad because people can't afford it.
You should get a cut from that.
Referral fee.
Referral fee.
Oh my gosh.
Ms. Phillips, do you have anything else?
Well, she didn't get to finish this. I want you to tell people the rule on this, because we hear this frequently when we're sitting in court or otherwise. Yeah. So
Nevada Rules of Civil Procedure 4.2 is what governs the service within the state of Nevada. The person who is doing the service must be at least 18 years of age to be able to serve. And they cannot be they can't
be related.
They can be related, but they cannot be personally
A party to the case.
a party to the case. Thank you. I couldn't remember that word party. They cannot be a party to the case. It can be your mother, it could be your father, it could be brother, aunt, as long as they're 18 years of age or older. It can be served on a person who lives in the same household, who is of sufficient age and capacity to know that they've got to make sure they give that document to who's being served. It's called subservice. 14-year-old takes the service, puts it on the kitchen table. Mom comes home. Hey, Mom, someone dropped papers off for you. It's in there on the dining room table. She goes in there. She picks it up. She's been served because she received a notice that it was there. Let's say there's only a rumor. Hey, you're being served. This lawsuit was sitting there. And then that person shows up for the hearing that's scheduled. They just showed up. They made a general appearance. They received notice. I'll set aside a decree if one has been entered, and I will, and I'll give them an opportunity because, the state of Nevada's public policy is to hear things on its merits, not on default.
So what would you consider improper service? Because according to what I'm hearing, service is service.
Yes, service is service. The hearing a rumor, not necessarily be giving the documents, that is not proper service. However, you're showing up in the courtroom shows that you received notice. So your showing up is what gives me jurisdiction to make a decision regarding your showing up. If you've received an order, if you did not receive anything, that complaint and that summons that told you this lawsuit was taking place, you need to file a motion as soon as possible. You've got 6 months to file the motion, asking for it for default to be set aside. And then in that, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be for the judge to really believe that it's there, unless, visitation was going like it always has until that 6 month point. And then, then you've got the catch-all 60BF. Is it F? Yeah, 60BF. There's 6 of them. I have to count on my fingers tonight. And that's for good cause. Because people will lie. They'll commit fraud. And, and I recognize that. There's games that people like to play. So, I use that probably more than most other judges will, because I want to hear things on the merits. If they're going to play games like that with me, then no telling what they did to that other parent. I'm getting custody. So I want to hear that side. I want to hear what is going on. Chances are it's going to be joint physical custody because I have 12 factors that I'm required to look at. And I have to. I have to make findings in each one of those 12 factors, and it usually requires an evidentiary hearing. If there's well, he hit me. Oh, I don't have any proof. I don't have pictures. I don't have any witnesses. Then it's going to take an evidentiary hearing. If the other side's not willing to say, yeah, I did it. And I've had one person do that. So it happens. Mm-hmm. But was it only a one-time event? If it was a one-time event, does it really get up there to because the purpose behind that rule is so many of your real abusers uses the child or children to control that other parent.
Well, Judge Perry, I would love to chat with you some more.
Okay.
But we have another show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there anything that you want to get out that we haven't brought up?
I don't believe so, other than the fact that I am running for re-election and that I'm asking for y'all's support as well as the people who are watching. Okay.
Well, Mark's going to zoom in on you, and you can say, and then you can say whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. If you have a website or whatever.
Yeah. At this point, I do not have a website yet. I've just now started getting down and dirty and serious about running for re-election. The sign-up period is in January. And at that point, I will know just how hard I have to fight to keep my job, and I'm going to be asking for your vote and vote for Mary Perry in Department P. Thank you.
Is P for Perry? Did they name that department after you, or?
No, I think they did it for Pomerantz. The judge that was in my seat before me.
Well, Miss Perry, Judge Perry, thank you so much for being on the program.
I appreciate you having me.
Ms. Phillips, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Folks, that's Mary Perry, Clark County District Court, Judge, Department P, Family Division. Now, we have been very critical of Judge Perry over the years, and we never really got the other side of Judge Perry. And now that we got the other side, I feel comfortable with Judge Perry. And sometimes we have to do that. We have to get the other side to make sure that our decisions are correct. And Judge Perry, she did a lot of things that she wasn't supposed to do, maybe, but it's nothing that's real crazy or outlandish. Judge Perry is back on track, and let me tell you something, folks. We hardly have any veterans sitting in any court in the state of Nevada. Probably could count them on probably two hands or one, and that's also a plus. Judge Perry is a no-nonsense judge. She believes that both parents should see their children. Is that a right statement?
Yes.
She believed that both parents should see the children, not just one. And she wants you to provide evidence to support your claim. And I think that's admirable. The fact that she even shows up on the show knowing that the questions might not be, what word am I looking for?
They're not comfortable.
Comfortable.
And I want to add something when you're done.
Comfortable, but she's here anyway. And that speaks volume, because there's a lot of judges and different political figures that are elected that won't come on our show because they're scared of the line of questions, because we didn't tell Judge Perry what we were going to ask her. She just came on, and then we asked the questions. So being that type of leader that would face adversary or friendly, that's what we call a leader. Somebody that's willing to face anybody at any time to answer these questions. She is a public servant. She's responsible to the elected people that vote her in her office, and she's here doing a service. And I wish a lot of, especially judges, would have that same type of mindset instead of running with their tails between their legs. And I have to compliment Judge Perry for that, because she's no nonsense. She's fair. And I believe she's balanced. So, and I think that maybe she deserves another 6 more years. What do you think, Ms. Phillips?
I do. And I just want to mention that when you said get the other side, when we're talking to a litigant and they tell us, we go do the research. We watch the videos of your behavior in court. We see this, but so we see both sides from your standpoint and the litigant standpoint. But the other side, what he's talking about, this is your personal life. Judges, they're not going to go through their personal medical challenges like you have with us. When we met with you, you were very transparent with us. So this is a whole nother side that we're getting that a lot of people wouldn't share. You have been through your sister's death, your dad's death, a double mastectomy, the cancer treatment, the medicine and the effects of that, and all this that you have been through. So, you're hearing challenges. People wouldn't necessarily talk about that kind of thing. So this is like a third side almost, that you are willing to share with the public. And I think that is really important, because a lot of that has had an effect on your soul. Your insides and your emotions. And that is challenging, but you have moved through that. And I think that you are to a point where you will commit to the public and to litigants that come before you that you will not have that kind of temperament. You won't yell at them. And you are much more settled at this point.
I am very much more settled. I cannot guarantee that medication won't just take a bite at me. Mm-hmm. So, if during a hearing I say, let's go off the record, it's usually because something in me is telling me I have to go off the record and take a break so that I can get back hold. And I'm learning how to deal with the deck that the good Lord gave me.
Yeah. Well, Judge Perry, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for being bold.
Yeah. Because we probably come down on her probably harder than anyone else. Yeah. And she's still sitting here.
She's still sitting. She didn't get up and leave.
No, she didn't leave, and she's not afraid. So
I'm willing to go to the lion's den.
She's willing to go to the lion's den. With that, this is, folks, again, that's Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Judge, Family Division, Department P for Perry. This is Steve Sanson, Stephanie Phillips with Veterans in Politics. Don't go away, folks. We have another show.